Recording in progress.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and dive in if you guys don't mind. We'll go ahead and get started. I want to be respectful to your time. First and foremost, I can say this just in. We got all our jerseys. So I've sent out all the emails. I should have all the teams. So if you haven't picked up already, just shoot me a text. I put the directions in the email to come on over. And all you have to say is, I'm coming over. I'll put it out on the porch. You could come up, grab it, away you go. You'll also get a game ball. That is yours to keep. So go ahead and put your name on it. It is a gift. Go ahead and take that. And then within the bag, you are going to see a little sheet that will have the scorebook roster, which is, by the way, is on the website as well. And I would just ask, go ahead and give the jersey according to what number they have. And a big reason for 3rd through 8th grade why that's important is because we do scorebook rosters. And so we want to just kind of keep everything as is. If somebody has the wrong size, just have them contact me. We'll figure it out or not. But I think we did a couple passes through to make sure everybody had the right size. Okay, so jersey's good to go. We're just a few days away from opening day, which is really exciting. And so I'm just going to hit on some things that, maybe nuances of Buzzardball, and then, of course, open it up to you guys and let you guys answer or ask any questions that you have. My whole thing is I want to make sure that you have peace of mind, right? Peace of mind, you've been in it 5 weeks trying to do practices, whether that's been an easy thing or a difficult thing or somewhere in between. I just want you to feel good going into the opening day, which is this Sunday. Overall, listen, this year, after what we've been through, the buzzword for me has been grace, is giving grace to everybody. So you, the coaches, giving grace to those players who are a year or two behind, probably in their basketball skill set. Opposite, the kids giving grace to you as coaches, parents giving grace. That we just have to realize that our expectations probably shouldn't be super high going into the season. These kids are going to need a lot of work to get back on track. But the good news is they will. They'll get back on track. It will happen. And so that's why I'm looking forward to the season, knowing that by the time we get back to the end of the season, that we should be back on track and the kids should be excited about being able to play athletics again. Okay? So let's go ahead and just get to some particulars. Sunday, like when you arrive and stuff. A big question that comes up is, Steve, can we warm up? Okay? So yes, there will be warm-ups, but it's all going to be based on how the games are going. We try to run everything on time, but it doesn't always work for 3rd through 8th grade, and that's because we do 10-minute quarters. So K through 2, we do 8-minute quarters. Works very well. We got a nice buffer until the next game. 3rd through 8th grade, we will get behind, okay, a little bit, but it won't be by much. So when you get there, we're going to look to, give you time to warm up, but it may or may not happen. So with that said, I'm going to give you a little tip depending on where you're at. If you are the first team on the schedule, guess what? Doors open a half hour before. So if you want to come and be there, 20, 25 minutes before and start warming up as we're setting up, I don't have any problem with that. Most of the places might have an outdoor court, so like Rio and El Camino, if you're there. Arden Middle School, you probably won't be able to. There's only one court there, and then I think that's all the gyms that are associated with WNBA. But again, I know the WNBA teams start before the NBA teams, so you guys will have a good amount of time to be able to get in there and warm up. So yes, you can warm up. As far as each site, we have site directors. So the site directors will be responsible for making sure everything kind of runs on time. They are going to be the person that will collect your game roster, and I'll be going over that in a second. And their job really is just to maintain, I guess, order throughout the day, right? And we've been pretty good about it. We have a great track record, and the site directors are absolutely huge. If you have questions, I know a lot of people think, oh, I need to go to Steve. Well, here's the deal. Go to the site director first. They should have the answer, and I've instructed them if they don't know, they can reach out to me. And I've also brought my son on, my oldest son, Toph, and he will be my assistant director. So we'll both be bouncing around and helping out where help is needed, okay? Let's see. Let's go ahead and address this COVID protocols because, believe it or not, it actually changed in the last week, okay? But this is nothing new to us, all right? Here's the deal. Overall, we are going to do this, okay? Now, look, if we get told we're going to have to shut down, then we'll have to shut down. But I don't anticipate that happening. I feel really good that we're going to be able to get a season in. We have already navigated, we have already adjusted. So when I put out the first communication, the COVID protocol was to be, 5-day quarantine, which that has been set down by the guidelines, and then come back with a negative test. Well, it turns out, and I should have known this, I had COVID in December of 2020, that when you test, you can test positive up to 3 months, okay? In fact, when I got COVID, when I went back to school, they said, yeah, we don't have to test you after my quarantine for 3 months. So with that said, if this is for the kids, I don't want to wipe out a kid's season. And I also know that the Omicron variant is less susceptible to the kids. Overall, it's been less susceptible. It does not mean they're not going to get COVID. They will. They're going to get it. We're seeing it already. So really just the communication between us. So for example, if you have someone who tests positive, whether it be yourself or it be a player, just reach out to me. Hey, Steve, we've had 1 or 2 kids, myself, we have tested positive. Here's what we're doing. 5-day quarantine. And so instead of the test coming back negative for you to be back in it, I've actually talked to a couple of doctor friends and they have recommended, again, you have CDC, you have Sacramento County, everything, but what they've recommended that they feel is safe is that it's a 5-day quarantine followed by 5 days. They are welcome back, but they should wear a mask, okay? And that should just take them through the 10 days and they should be good to go. I am going to allow you to manage that. I trust you guys fully. You guys know your team better than I know your team. And so if you have any questions with that, please let me know and I will certainly help you with that. If there's any parents who have any questions, of course, please direct them to me. Also, I trust you too in how you present to your team. Like some coaches say, hey, I'm going to be wearing a mask. If you want to wear a mask, you can. You're not obligated to or whatever. You can set that up however you have. And with you guys being in at 5 weeks, I'm sure you already have that down pat. Okay, so that's COVID protocols, and that will take care of that. Let's go ahead and just get to just quick rules. It's 10-minute quarters. We do subs at 5 minutes. The difference with Buzzardball is we're an all-play league, okay? So the perfect number in an all-play league is 10. So if you have 10, congratulations, okay? You're going to be great. You have your first team, you have your second team, and you play them throughout the game. Any other number, you're going to have to follow what's called the subgrid, okay? So taking you through the process, what you're going to do is you're going to use that game roster, which is on the website, and you're going to list your players, okay? They're going to be listed 1 through 9, 1 through 8, 1 through 11, 1 through 12, whatever you have. And based on that grid number, that's when they're going to play in the game. If this is something you want to have visible to the team, I absolutely tell you that's a good thing because the more they know, the better. Because when we sub at 5 minutes, it is not a timeout. Now, you are allowed to use one of your 3 timeouts, but it's not a timeout. You'll hear the officials say, subs in, okay? And then the subs just come in. So, for example, let's say you have a team of 9. So what it will look like is it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the first half of the first quarter, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 in the second half of the first quarter. Go to the second quarter, and now it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it just keeps rotating, all right? Here's a little hint for you. If you have anything but 10, what I would do is in the subgrid, look at the end. Who do you want to have in at the end of the game, okay? And then that's how I would set up my subgrid. Just know this, that where you don't have 10, you are going to have weak segments. There's going to be segments where you're going to get dominated by the other team, but please know this. If you have a weak segment, more than likely the other team's going to have a weak segment as well. What we found over the years is it all balances out, okay? So you just have to be prepared for that. So again, you can use a timeout, but the subs, boom, you get the subs in. We mentioned turning in your game roster. You'll do that to the site director. You don't have to make a copy. We'll just have the site director take a picture of your game roster, and we should be good to go. The differences between the divisions, 3rd and 4th grade, there is no press, and you can only pick up at the 10-foot line. What does that mean? That means in the front court, your point guard has 10 feet of space in which the defense cannot come out to them. Now, they can't camp out there. We've told our officials to kind of count them out. They have like 3 to 5 seconds to initiate the offense. But what that does kind of helps build their confidence, bridges that thing they've learned in K through 2, and now in 3rd grade, not worrying about getting that pressure. Now, here's the other question that comes up. Hey, Steve, we initiate the offense, we get an offensive rebounds, we kick it back out to the point guard. Do we get those 5 seconds again? The answer is no. That is a one-time deal, okay? So once a possession, you get that little gap of 10 feet. That's 3rd and 4th grade. 5th and 6th grade, you'll be able to pick up a half court And 7th and 8th grade, same thing, press in the fourth quarter. So pick up a half court and press in the fourth quarter. Free throws. When we do free throws, we do it a little bit differently. 3rd and 4th grade will be able to move up to what is the first hash to get them a little closer. They're shooting on 10-foot rims. They actually should be shooting on 9-foot rims, but we don't have places where we can adjust the rims to that height. So we have to go with 10, but we can get them close to be able to shoot the free throw, and it's 1 for 2. So what that means is they shoot 1 free throw. If they miss, obviously a rebound takes place. If they make it, they get 2 points. If it's a 3-pointer and they're shooting that, then they would get 3 points, okay? If it's an and one, we just give them the automatic point, give the possession to the other team. So that's how we deal with free throws, okay? So let's see. Fourth quarter, when we get to the fourth quarter in the final 2 minutes of the game, that will be the only time that it will be a stop clock. So stop clocks are going to happen on subs. They're going to happen on timeouts, okay? And they'll happen on injuries, all right? Other than that, it's a running clock. When we get to the fourth quarter, the final 2 minutes, if the team is leading by less than 10, it will be a stop clock. If they're leading by more than 10, the clock will continue to run. Okay, we kind of know, maybe there's a great comeback in store. You could do the fouling, but for the sake of time, we need to make sure we get that next game going. So in those final 2 minutes, if a foul occurs, the first foul, that is a bonus. That means the person goes to the free throw and shoots the 1 free throw for 2 points, and that's how it is for the entire 2 minutes. What we have found is, we don't want to confuse people too much. And so we found that this is the best way. Kind of makes it very easy for the officials, the coaches, the players, and the families watching. All right, so that is the final 2 minutes. Defense. Defense is man-to-man. It is not zone. I know there's loopholes in that. The one thing that we have put in that I think has kind of helped is that we can't double team outside the key, but if a girl goes inside the key, then anybody can guard her. Obviously, closer to the basket, more people can collapse on her and be able to defend her. Let's see. So no zone defense. The other part of it is no spread offense. This happens more with the boys. The way this looks is you put everybody in 4 corners like you're doing a stall, and then it's a one-on-one game with the 2 best players on the court. We try to avoid that. Want to get everybody mixed in, run a little offense if you can, see how it goes. Matching up. Okay, so we will be matching up, and what that means is at the beginning of each segment, the 5 girls will stand facing each other, and they'll decide who they match up against, okay? Now, it's going to take a little time in the first week or 2, but it'll get quicker and quicker as we go along. 3rd and 4th grade, we're going to give you all the time that you need just so that they can get comfortable with that. 5th and 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade, you guys will get it pretty easy. We won't have to match up all the time. So 3rd and 4th grade, again, more grace than 5th through 8th grade, all right? And let's see, we have a blowout rule. So blowout rule simply means if your team's up by 20, the scoreboard will freeze until the team that's trailing scores, okay? And then we just go there. So you'll see a lot of scores that are 50 to 30, 40 to 20 or whatnot. We still keep the stats in the scorebook, okay, because we keep stats for all the players and stuff. So we'll do that, but on the scoreboard, come on, has anybody ever been on the end of a 73-4? I have, and it's not fun, right? You're looking at that like, yeah, that's just not fun for anyone to look at. And even being on the 73 side, which, by the way, I've never done, never blown out a team, that's not fun either. So we just do that blowout rule, and it seems to have gone over well the last couple years. Let's see. I think that's all I have on my list. So obviously try to touch on some things, but want to make sure that I answer all of your questions. And I'm sure you have some. So I'm going to let you guys fire away, and we'll answer the questions. So who is, oh, and by the way, we're not going to do the raise your hand like they do in school. Just feel free to chime in, and we'll go from there.
Steve, you mentioned something about the free throw line. What was, you mentioned we move it up or?
Yeah, so, we won't put a piece of tape down. What we've done is traditionally have the girls move up so there's notches on this, the hashes or whatever. Just have them move up a hash. Yeah, we just want to make it not like easy for them, but we're not going to sit them all the way back behind the free throw line. So they'll be able to move up, and we'll determine that. And actually that triggers me to, I thought about something else, is the officials that we have. I'm going to tell you, we have a great officiating service. So we have Hawkins Officiating, which they officiate a lot of things in the city. including the PAL, which is all the Catholic schools. They do high school, they do college. They love coming to Buzzardball. And it's because of the culture that we've created, a very positive culture. What you have to know about the officials is that because they officiate so many different leagues, you can only imagine the different nuances that they see with every league. So what we will do is our site director will have a conversation with the officials to let them know to go over the rules for, you know, 3rd and 4th grade girls, 5th and 6th grade girls, to make sure that they know what it is, okay? So we will take care of that from our end, but what I would suggest to you is go up and just introduce yourself. You know, I always think that's like a good thing to do, just, you know, say who you are, and that way you kind of get that little rapport off the bat. I will say 90% of the officials are great. 10%, you're going to get some, okay? And there will be bad ones. If you get in a situation where you're just not feeling it with the official, obviously I'm going to say number one, restraint, okay? Just be restrained about it. Tell our site director, and then we'll follow up, because as much as, you know, officials might complain about coaches, there are bad officials too, and I do want to kind of acknowledge that, but we also want to deal with it in the right way. And what's nice about Steve and Andrea, who run Hawkins Officiating, is they want to hear those things. They will always tell me, I want to hear both sides of the story, okay? But we also want to make sure that the officials that are officiating our games are doing a good job, okay? So just wanted to put that out there. All right, yeah, next question. Oh, you guys are too easy. Stop this. K through 2, they were littering me with questions. No doubt about it. 7th and 8th grade, or 3rd through 8th grade boys, you know, wasn't too bad. But the girls, I am not leaving here with one question.
Hey, Steve, this is Shannon. First and foremost, thanks for all of your leadership here.
Thank you, Shannon.
I want to get a better understanding around traveling, double dribbling, and some of the calls that we can predict based on what we've seen in our practices.
Very good. Okay. So in K through 2, it's a progression, right? We try to break their bad habits so they can be ready for 3rd grade. Then this pandemic hit, right? And we're 2 years out of having these kids playing in athletics. Here's what I know. Going back to that word grace, is that 3rd and 4th grade especially, I will talk with the officials, but what we truly try to do is we try to make all those calls, okay? It almost in the 3rd, 4th grade would have to be like super obvious for them to call it. Yeah, it's something I'm going to have to talk to the officials about, because I would say, you know, call everything. And you guys can tell me like how you feel about that. But yeah, they need to learn the game. So there's kind of that balance and stuff. But I imagine the way I see it is in the first week or two, if a girl takes a, you know, one extra step or something like that, they're probably not going to call it, because with 3rd and 4th grade being one division, 5th and 6th grade being one division, we're definitely going to have different levels of expertise when it comes to this. And so I would say that we'll just kind of monitor it and just know that probably we'll be giving these girls grace in the first 2 weeks. But I would imagine and we'll update it. Like you could say after week 1, hey, that worked really well. No, I think it's time for us to kind of move forward, and then we'll go with that. So I'll really probably be leaning on you from what you guys see to see where you want to go with that. I hope that answers it, Shannon. Cool. All right, that's question 2. I'm ready for number 3. I know number 3 is going to be really good.
So I got it from the subgrid.
Yes.
So I typically predetermine mine. Girl doesn't show up on game time. She's scratched. Can I just put her at the bottom? Or if I set my 7 and one shows up that was on the bubble, does she just go onto the bottom of the list? How's that work?
Absolutely. Okay, so you hit on what is called the coach's nightmare. Okay? You've done all your work. And by the way, you should see Steve's printouts. They are outstanding. So impressive. But here's the deal, is that you've done all your work. You have 9 players. You've done your grid. You've actually even mapped out. You put all the names and everything, right? You've done all your work. You get there and someone doesn't show up, okay? So yes, it's a scratch, but then it throws your grid off, all right? Here's how I'm going to ask you to operate. Operate from the game roster, okay? All I would do in that situation, let's say I did 9. You know, I looked at the end of who I wanted in. I filled in the gaps, okay? I would then just look at the 8-player grid, and I would go, okay, who do I want in the end? And then I would just do a quick shuffle, okay? Because it really, that's all it is. Don't feel like you have to come with a grid that is all filled out. Some of you will. You're type A's, and I applaud that because I'm a type AA. I totally get it, okay? But when that person doesn't show up, it also can throw you off big time. So just working off that game roster. Another thing to throw in there, Steve, that talking about the subgrid, what happens is someone gets injured, okay? So someone gets injured in the game, okay? Let's say it's in the first quarter, and number 5 goes out. The person that goes in would be the first person in the grid that's coming up. So number 6 would go in. It used to be we did it on the honor system. And if it's on the honor system, you're just going to go to the best player, right? That makes sense. But in this case, it's the next person on the grid. Now, let's say player number 5 is able to go back in. That would be one time where there's a dead ball. Boom, 5 goes back in. 6 is on the bench, then they go into the grid when they're supposed to go in the grid. If 5 can't come back in, then you just have to do a shuffle, okay? And all you would do is wherever they're at, look at the next grid and put the person at top into that spot. Listen, you're not going to be perfect with it, but at least that gives you direction on how to deal with it, okay?
Same thing, should someone foul out, we just go to the next person on the grid.
Yes, that's the other one. If someone does foul out, which it doesn't happen often, but when it does, just go to the next person in the grid. So let's say you're in the fourth quarter, okay? So if you're in the fourth quarter, then just swing back up to the first quarter. Obviously, it would be player number 1. Okay, overtime. Just so you know, in overtime is a 3-minute segment with with subs at 1:30. You play the fourth quarter squad in overtime. If it goes to double overtime, it's sudden death, and in double overtime, you can play whoever you want, and that's just first basket to score. Okay. Question number 4. I mean, yeah, no. Well, that would say you're probably the most relaxed group.
Steve, I think that question. You said no double E, and then
You know what, David? I think you were talking about double teams. Okay, I got part of that. So double teams, you cannot double team. But if you're in 5th through 8th grade and you're doing the press, you can press full court. That press, by the way, can be a man-to-man or zone press. But once you get in the half court, you can still double team, but it's got to be man-to-man defense. So you can't set up in a zone defense once the other team gets into the front court. And then, as I said, if they go into the key, then that's anybody can guard them. Okay, we wouldn't expect anybody to lay them and let them go to the basket. They can play help defense. I hope that answered it.
We can do a full court press.
Yes. So 5th through 8th grade can do a full court press. There's no press in 3rd and 4th grade.
No press in 3rd and 4th. Okay.
Correct. Okay.
I'm sorry, I thought I read that 5th and 6th, it's only the last 2 minutes for a press, but it's.
You know what? Then I need to change that. I'm sorry. It should be the 4th quarter.
It's the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I may, you know what? And I may have sometimes I'll make it a little different from boys to girls. So I will double check that and update it. But we try, I just learned, what the boys do, the girls should be able to do too. Girls do, boys should do. So it will be 4th quarter, and I'll change that. Okay. Cool.
Hey, Steve, I had a question about the picking up defense too early.
Yes.
So in our scrimmage today, they all want to pick up right away.
Yeah.
What is the penalty for that? Are we going to be warned? Is there going to be turnovers for that?
Oh, no. I mean, so you're talking about that 10-foot line?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So listen, so on the offense, it is key for them to kind of get things going. Can't camp out there. Okay. For the defense, as soon as they cross there, they can pick them up right away, just like they would if it was half court. And all that's going to happen, let's say we have an aggressive, anxious person that goes into the 10-foot area a little too early. The referee's just going to tell them to move out. That's it. There's not going to be any foul or penalty on that.
Okay.
Yeah. The big thing with that one is just the camping out in that area and then realizing you only get that once a possession. It used to be that, you'd run a possession, get the offensive board, the point guard would come back out, sit out there for another 5 seconds, and it's like, yeah, no, that's not what we're after there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely. Okay, well, hey, this will be the shortest Zoom of the 3. Just know this, like, I'm here for you. I can't stress that enough. You never have to call me and start with the words, I apologize for bugging you. No, I in a weird way, I love it. It's kind of weird, okay? But during this time, it's like I'm very excited, like, to run this league. And so ultimately, I really want you guys to be in the best position that you can be and feel good about what's going on. So anything comes up, obviously reach out to me. On game day, really rely on the site director. I think that's pretty big. And I should mention, and I don't know if this was wrong in the notes, is the home team is responsible for the scoreboard and the away team is responsible for the scorebook. I know I kind of had it mixed up. So home team scoreboard, away team scorebook. I have tutorials and stuff. We will teach someone. Some of you guys are going to be lucky. You're going to have that gung-ho person or two that are like, yeah, we're in, and then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the season. For others of you, it might be pulling teeth a little bit to get someone, and they'll say this, oh, I've never kept score before, or I've never. Listen, that anybody can do it, and we could definitely help out. And just so you know, like, if worse comes to worse, our site director, if they have to fill in and do one of those spots, they gladly will. But we do keep a scorebook, obviously for the fouls. But again, like I said, we keep the stats and everything for the girls. So we like to highlight some great moments that surely will happen this year. So, yeah. And then the reward for the top 2 teams in each division is you'll be playing your championship at Golden One Center. So that'll be pretty exciting. I have no idea how it's going to look this year. We have so many new families. It's crazy. So of the 950, I think 600 plus are new families. So it's kind of exciting to be able to showcase Buzzardball for all the newbies, which including you. You guys are in the group. And for the veterans, of course, I'm very happy that you guys are back. And let's just do this. Let's get through this, navigate through it, and have some fun. Anything else from you guys?
Yeah, Mr. Shannon, I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
In the event that we have, 5 players or 4 players, what's the number that we should forfeit?
Now, I would let you play with 4 players. Yeah, I'm all for playing the game. Okay, so in this case, I think 4 is like what you can go down to. If it gets less than that, then we turn it into a scrimmage and call it a forfeit. You know what I'm saying? I would never want to like cancel a game if we have the opportunity to play it, even if one team is maybe wiped out. Okay, because like I'm sure you're talking about in terms of COVID, if like the team like gets wiped out. So far, it's all been individuals. I think we've had 1 or 2 coaches that have had it and stuff, but it was kind of over the Christmas break. So yeah, so that would be the case. We would definitely, Shannon, look to play the game if we could.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, well, obviously, I look forward to meeting you guys in person. And so I'll be bouncing around. My son Toph will be bouncing around as well, just to make sure everything is going well. Make sure whatever email you send out to your team, let them know, hey, take pictures, hashtag Buzzardball, and, let's just bring some joy. We know it's been a crazy time, and athletics for kids, I think, is super, 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 super important, and I'm very thankful to each and every one of you for coaching our kids this year. All right? Okay, well, have a nice evening, and hope to see you on Sunday. Okay? See you later.
Thank you.
Okay, you're right. Bye.